So, we'll start sitting comfortably whenever that is for you. We can have our spine long and our hips and legs relaxed. And let's just bring our hands together. So, like a prayer position. The thumb knuckles just gently pressing into the front of the sternum, right in front of the heart, that central part right there. And place the tip of the tongue gently against the roof of the mouth, behind the teeth, right? So we can connect our yin yang channels while we breathe. Just starting to slow down and elongate our breath a little bit. Eyes closed or soft. We're just very gently pressing into the sternum, not forcefully, just to make that connection with the C17 point there. Just breathe, allowing the belly to relax, the hips, letting go of the shoulders, the jaw, tongue, the brow. Feel free to, of course, let out sound or anything else that feels good to you while you're breathing. We might even imagine the energy in our breath circling all the way down to the perineum and around to our back and going up the center of our back, across the top of our head, and down the front of our face to find our tongue resting right behind our teeth. This nice circular motion. Of course, we connect our electrical system when we bring our fingertips together. We connect our meridians and our electrical system, which is where the prayer position has originated from, was just a way to connect the electrical system in the body. Just coming inside, letting our breath be even without being forced, letting the mind relax, coming into this moment. The breath carry an intention, whatever that might be, whether it's just to be here in the body and giving ourselves fully to this time, or there might be another intention. Be any kind of intention. Just let the breath be the carrier of that. But we could just release our our hands. Just bring your arms out from your shoulders, or put your hands on your legs and just let our spine gently wave forward and back. So a little rounding and snaking of the spine. Whatever way feels good to you. As we breathe, waking up our spine. And then we might like to just bring our hands onto our legs and circle our torso around a couple of times. So Making a nice big circle, one direction and the other direction. Just letting everything kind of loosen and relax. Good. And then just coming to center, we'll bring ourselves into a untied shoelace or a full shoelace if you prefer. So maybe bring that right leg out in front of your left leg. Or if you prefer to tie your shoelace, right, you can stack your right knee on top of your left knee if that works for you and you prefer that. So just find what works for our body here. We can bring our feet farther away from us in that untied shoelace. Good. And then bringing our arms out from our shoulders. We'll cross the right arm under the left and come into an eagle with our arms for a little bit, just for a short time. So I'm just allowing the hips to settle in here. And getting a little stretch between our shoulder blades. And anytime you want to adjust your legs, change them, or give some support underneath your knees, anything like that, feel free to do that. And of course, if there's any poses that don't feel right for your body or your body would prefer not to do, feel free to do a different pose altogether. It's fine to do whatever feels right for your body. So we want to make this time about listening to our body and going inside. So we don't always have to do exactly what I'm doing. And then anytime you want to release your arms, you can stay a little longer if you'd like, or you can release out and just let your body relax forward over the legs. Need a support under either knee, place a block or a pillow. Allow the torso, the weight of our torso to bring us into this hip stretch. So we feel that along the outer side of our hips and thighs. Always change your feet to move them a little farther away from you or closer in. So as coming into any meditation, it's really about listening to something other than the external noise that we might be accustomed to listening, everything that's around us in our life and all the demands. And we listen to our body, listen to our mind, our heart, ourself, and come into what I like to call a ritual space. It's possible to live in ritual space. on a regular basis. So being in a ritual space is really just about feeling connected to all that is, feeling connected to that web of life within and without us, involves everything and everyone, the whole and beyond the earth and beyond our planet. So that feeling of being connected and feeling safe, feeling supported. It's not really so much about doing as it is about being, feeling connected with our being. It can be helpful to have rituals. I'm a very ritualistic person, and it's very helpful to have like regular morning ritual, evening ritual, and just connecting in with ourselves in that way. So let's go ahead and press ourselves up slowly from here. Your time, we want to come out nice and slowly. Good. And then uncross your legs. We'll bring the top leg, the forward leg or top leg, which is the right leg probably, out to the side. Left leg foot into the right thigh. Now, if you need something under your knee, or if you prefer to do a straddle, if this doesn't work for your knee, feel free to do that. And just allow your body to turn towards the right leg and make sure we're not tilted back on our pelvis. Don't lean to the back at all. Just relax here. Half butterfly. We'll start to feel that stretch through the left side of our body, our hip, our shoulder, into the gallbladder channel and spleen channels. A nice stretch for the rib cage, right? All the space between our rib cage. Of course, if you want to add a little more stretch and a little more yang to this pose, you can always turn face forward and bring your left arm over your head. Increase that stretch, optional, for as long as it feels right. And we want to make sure that we're not leaning back into the hip. There could be a little bit of a torque on our low back. Make sure we're mindful of our low back. Forward folding and twisting at the same time. Think in in these times that we're in that are definitely speeding up and getting more intense. It makes it even more necessary to have times and well, not necessarily even times, but mindset of making sure that we're centering ourselves and coming into a space where we're aligned with our source connection, whatever that is, however we term that, but the source of our being, and that we give that attention and don't get too caught up in all the external goings on that want to pull us out off of our center. We come from our center, and then we can handle the things that are going on in our lives. We can strengthen that inner flame and that inner space, the ritual space. So we're going to go ahead and press ourselves up from here. Just press up slowly to sitting. And then we'll lift our left knee and bring your foot next to your right, inside the right calf. We're going to go into a mongoose transition. So take your left arm, press it into that left leg, right arm behind us, and we'll twist to the right. So kind of leaning back, pressing your leg and your arm into each other. Okay, and then come back around to face forward. And whatever feels good to your legs, you can shake them out or windshield wiper your legs, anything that feels good. And then we'll do the other side in the shoelace or untied shoelace. So you can stack your left leg on top of your right, or you can just bring your legs out in front of you, a little distance here, and settle in. And then we'll bring our arms out and then crossing our left arm underneath our right arm for the eagle. Yeah, just breathing. You can always, lift your elbows or move your hands farther away from you. Any little movements that might feel good to your back and shoulders and arms. Such a nice stretch for the outer upper arm. Gets into that across the outer shoulder. You can stay here longer or you can just release. You can always just lean forward onto your legs as well. Whatever feels right for you. Just come forward for a little longer over the legs, supporting the knees if needed. Always explore moving the feet farther out, changing the position of the legs a little bit. The simple act of noticing, just noticing where the sensations are happening. We're in yin poses. Just that simple act of bringing our awareness to place allows it be to relax and release as well as to be enlivened and just energized by our presence and our attention. It seems like too simple of a thing to pay attention to your body, but wherever your attention goes, that grows, right? So we can actually allow self-healing just by giving our attention and our loving attention to an area of our body or our lives in general. Healing power will be able to come in, be allowed in. Okay, so let's go ahead and slowly press up from here. And then we can bring our left leg out to the side, right foot in, to the left leg. And if you need a support under your right leg, and making sure the pelvis is not tilting back, we turn towards this leg and relax forward in this into our half butterfly on this side. So allowing the torso to relax, feeling that little stretch through the outer right hip and the waist, up through the rib cage, shoulder. Of course, holding the poses for a length of time. That is what we're about in yin. Although we might be stretching the muscles, we're actually increasing the stress around the fascia and in the fascia, which surrounds the muscles. So by stressing the fascia, surrounds the joints, all those different parts, the tendons, the ligaments. And it's just by stressing that over time that gives the deeper layers that stretch, deeper layers of fascia and connective tissue. If you want to add more stretch here, of course, you can always take that right arm over for as long as it feels right. Give a little more stretch. So in yin, we go past the muscles and we go into, you could say, you go all the way into the bones. You go all the way down into the bone. Kind of a myth that our bones are hard. They're not as hard as we might believe. And if we keep them healthy, they'll stay nice and supple and not get too brittle. So it's stretching that keeps the bones healthy as well. Okay, so we'll start to press up from here, coming out nice and slow. Sitting. And when we come up, we're going to lift that right knee. Place your foot next to your calf. Take your right arm against your right leg, left hand behind us, a little bit farther back so we can just lean back into Mongoose, pressing arm and leg into each other and twisting to the left. Taking a few breaths here. Go ahead and come back around to face forward. We'll come onto our belly in Sphinx. So if you need anything with you, roller, blocks, bolster, just come on to your elbows and maybe rock. Let's let your body rock side to side, relax pelvis. Back bend. Whatever feels good to the head and neck. I like to look up for a bit and get a stretch in the front of the neck. Or let the head hang, move it around, just whatever feels good to you. Also lift our feet if we want to add a little more compression and stretch. Be mindful of your low back, particularly sacrum, low back area. We have been twisting, forward folding, doing various twists and positions, and just notice that there's no tingling or that kind of sensation. If there is, just come out or take a break, do a different position. I think it's easy to not notice that how much we're putting on our sacrum, sacral area sometimes, which is good for the sacrum and the iliosacral joint. To pay attention when we're doing a lot of pressure in various ways on that area. So let's take a short half frog break, and you can slide one knee up towards your shoulder. Just let your head rest on your hands. Okay, go ahead and slide that leg back down and bring yourself back up to your elbows so we can come either into Sphinx or seal here. So straightening the arms for seal or a supported seal if you'd like, by putting the roller or blocks underneath your elbows if that's better for you. And it can be a lot for the wrists here. So also put a bolster under the pelvis, support and take a little pressure off of the upper body. And of course, paying attention to our breath. Starts to get labored, then we should come down to a less intense version of the pose or come out altogether. Just noticing the breath. So if you are up in seal, you might want to start to slowly come down to Sphinx, kind of gradually come back down. And we'll take a break and half frog on the other side, whatever side you didn't do. Slide that knee up, let that hip open and rest the head on the hands. And we'll go ahead and slide that leg down and bring ourselves up onto our all fours, or if maybe sitting, if this doesn't work for you, So we can move our spine and just curl the tailbone under, allowing our back to round. You might like to press your hips back toward your heels a bit and then lift up and extend the spine. So just moving slowly and gently between that rounding, arching, recalibrating our spine here. Spine goes all the way from the tip of our head to the tip of our tailbone. And then we can just let our hips circle and just let everything kind of go where it wants to. Spirally motion. In the other direction. And we'll just go ahead and sit back into child's pose for a bit, or happy baby if this doesn't work for you. You might like to have the knees apart. You might like to have the feet apart if you like that. More of a tadpole position. Just find your child's pose. Maybe the arms stretched in front. Okay, so we can slowly come up from here. And we're going to bring ourselves around to sitting and find your blocks if you have them. Also, you could use a pillow or a bolster if you prefer. And this is to go underneath the shoulder blade. So you'll put the block lengthwise that, and this block can be for the head. You have two blocks, or you can also put a pillow under your head as well. And we're going to lie back with our legs in a nice supine butterfly. So feet can be farther away or closer in, just wherever it feels right for you. Just find the block underneath the shoulder blades and just allow your arms to stretch out and allow the chest to get a nice stretch and opening here. Total yin pose. More of a restorative yin pose. Nice to let our spine bend in this direction and let the chest get a nice stretch. Shoulders. The hips can get a nice opening here as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and lift our knees up and just kind of bring yourself over to one side onto that arm so you can help yourself up. Just have to roll over and come up that side. And we'll take the blocks out from there and just come onto your back and hug your knees. Let your body relax, maybe rock around a little bit. You might like to stir your legs in your hip sockets. Just a little stir. And we'll hold on to our legs and curl up into a little tight ball. Bring your knees and head towards each other. And lie the head back down, relax. And we'll put our left foot on the ground, straighten the right leg to the ceiling, and just allow your left knee to drop open to the side. Grab hold of that right leg and give it a little stretch. So, yeah, move the foot if you like as well. You can flex and point or roll your foot around, ankle. And then you might like to have a bolster on your left side for support if you need it. And we'll guide our leg across our body to the left and maybe leaving the leg straight for a while if that works for you, getting more hip stretch and allowing our right arm to extend out from our right shoulder, supporting this leg, but feel free to allow your knee to bend at any time and just relax in the twist. So as much of a stretch as you'd like through your outer hip and right leg here. So we also want to make sure our leg is supported, whether we support it with our hand or a bolster or blocks. In our twist, we might like to have our head looking the same direction as our top leg, or we might like to look in the opposite direction or look directly upward. Just find what feels good to your neck and your shoulders, your head. Okay, let's start to slowly come up from there. You can maybe grab hold of the right leg with your right hand and bring yourself onto your back, hug and relax the body. And if you have bolstering that needs to be moved to the other side, and we can bring our our right foot on the ground, our left leg into the air. Just let your right knee open out to the side, and we'll give this leg a stretch and maybe move the foot, like all through the foot, circle the ankle. Then we'll guide our leg across the body. Again, you might like to have your legs straight for a while, as long as it feels right for you. If you'd like that stretch in the outer hip and leg, or feel free to just let your leg bend and just relax in the twist. Left arm extended out to the left side. And of course, if you have your legs straight and there's any tingling sensations, you might want to just let that leg bend and relax. That little nerve tingling can happen when we get that deep stretch through the sciatic nerve channel, right, that runs along the outside of our leg and hip. As we breathe fully and deeply in our twist, we recalibrate our spine and our nervous system, which is why we like to do this at the end of our practice. Bring everything back into balance. A nice full deep breath is massaging our internal organs, supporting our digestive process. And allowing our body to relax. So if you'd like to stay a little bit longer in the twist, feel free to do that. Or if you want to start to come out slowly onto the back. Any movement that feels good to you, of course. We'll come to a nice, comfortable resting position for a little bit to integrate. So, whatever feels good to your body here. You might like to put your hands on your belly, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or just whatever feels good to you as you breathe nice and fully. And just notice how you feel, feeling the energy and the chi circulating through the channels. We notice how our breath is and our mind and our state of being. And I'm going to just offer a little quote from one of my tarot books that I like. If I can't, then I must. Fears into freedom, doubts into trust. Scary snake into mighty dragon. So just giving thanks to our body, giving thanks to our breath, giving thanks to Gaia, to the earth for being there for us. Anything else that we want to offer gratitude, sending that out on our breath. And I thank you all for coming today. Feel free to continue to relax on your back or to get up slowly